This is Mr. Bass. Today I've got a little tip for you. I thought I would show you how to spool braid onto your spinning reels. This is actually a very simple process to spool it on. And really what I'm going to talk about more than anything is just how to attach the braid to your spool. And the reason you need to know this is braid slips and it does not grip into your spool. Like you can see, this spool has the grooves on it, but braid will not grip into these grooves the way mono or fluorocarbon will. So you have to attach it. You have to find a way to attach it. So there's a couple of different methods that people use. One is by first spooling mono around the spool and just kind of put a little layer of mono on there and then attach your braid. And that works fine, especially if you have a deeper spool. But what do you do when you have a super shallow spool like this incredible Daiwa LT reel? Light and tough, but almost no spool room. I really want as much braid as possible on here. So the thing that I do is I use electrical tape. There are some problems with electrical tape though. One is that electrical tape will leave a residue on your spool over time. So if that bothers you, then you may not want to try the electrical tape route. The problem is other types of tape really don't work, and electrical tape is grippy, so the line grips to it quite well. Another problem with electrical tape, here's a couple of different rolls of electrical tape, a black and a blue. To my knowledge, it only comes in this standard diameter. You might be able to find skinnier electrical tape out there as far as the width of the tape. But for your standard ordinary spool, the tape is too wide. And that's not a problem, but it's a pain because you've got to literally shave off the edge of your electrical tape, shave a slice off here so that it'll actually fit on your spool. Do you need to wrap all the way around the spool? That's kind of a matter of preference. I know some people who just put a small piece on and that's it. And I've done that and it works. Just that one little bit of, say, an inch long piece of tape will work. But there is a possibility it will come up if it's not all the way wrapped around. But I would say the most that you probably need to wrap around is 2 wraps, and you can probably get away with just 1 wrap. So I'm going to put a wrap of electrical tape around it, around the spool, and then I will demonstrate how I attach the line to the spool. So here's the spool now. And as you can see, I've got the layer of electrical tape taped on now. Now I'm going to attach the fishing line, and my fishing line, even this bright green, is still a little hard to see on this video. So I'm just going to use a red cord. This is not fishing line, obviously, but it will help to probably for you to see what I'm doing a little better. All you do is you wrap it around the spool. Now there's different knots you could tie. You could tie an arbor knot. You could tie, some guys just tie overhand knots, all kinds of knots. But I tend to use a uni knot. It's my favorite fishing knot most of the time. And also it's easy, and it also works fine for attaching line to a reel. So you take the line, wrap it around your spool. And you need to give yourself a little bit of slack with your tag end. And what I do is I just pinch these two together like that. And then I just make a loop on top. Some people call this, you make a 6, the number 6. If that helps you, then fine. And then all you do is, your 6 has now made you a hole. You wrap in that hole 3 to 6 times. Now, when I do on a spool, I only do 3 times. I really think that's all you need. But if I was tying a knot if I was tying this uni knot for fish, I would do a minimum of 6 turns. And then all you do is just kind of cinch the knot down. And of course you're going to wet your knots, but I'm not wetting this big thick cord. And then a uni knot just slides down really quite nicely just by pulling. And it'll tighten up. And then you're good to go. You can start wrapping. Now, if you say, well, I'd like a little more protection, you can. And I've done this as well too. After you make your knot, after you tie your knot like this, you can actually take the line and make your loop big enough. You can take extra line and wrap a wrap or two around the spool if you want before you tighten the knot down. And then that just gives you added protection. But that's really how you attach it. Very simple. Then you just flip the bail and start winding. If you're putting on mono or fluorocarbon, you have to worry about line twist. But the beauty of braid is you really don't have to worry about line twist. So it does not really matter how it comes off of the spool of line onto your spool. It doesn't really matter which direction. It doesn't matter if you lay the line flat or stand it up vertically. I'll get a box of line and just show you what I'm talking about in case you don't know about that. So if I were putting mono on, and when you turn the handle, it turns this direction, meaning the line wraps around the spool this way. So when I roll line off, however it's coming off from the factory needs to go the same direction. It's coming this way, so that's wrong. It needs to be this way so that when it comes off the spool, it goes on the spool the same direction it was turned on this plastic. That's really important to help reduce line twist when it comes to fluorocarbon or mono. But braid, it does not matter. It's another great reason. The fact that line twist in effect is gone by using braid is reason enough, in my opinion, with all but just a few exceptions. So anyway, that's how I attach the line, and then you just spool it on. No big deal. Very easy, simple to do. So that's all there is to it. Attaching braid to a spinning reel is really not very difficult. Hope that was informative and helpful. If so, I would really appreciate a like or a subscribe. Would really help the channel. Until next time, this is Mr. Bass. Happy fishing.